Today's topic of discussion will be regarding employment equity in the public service. We will be looking at the Employment Equity Act and analyzing some graphs that represent the demographics of employees in the public service in 2011, with comparisons to previous statistics prior to the Employment Equity Act. The Employment Equity Act came into effect in 1987 and worked with the federal government to implement workplace hiring equality. It worked to bring down the barriers that originally discriminated against women, Aboriginal peoples, persons with disabilities, and other minorities. The act was to originally bring down the barriers preventing these minorities from being hired, but now acts as more of a way to showcase a more representative public service workforce. Let us start by looking at a general breakdown of the public service. From these statistics released by Government Canada in 2011, it shows women actually hold a majority in the public service, with 55.2% of them being women. The act appears to be effective when we look at the 42% that women took up in the public service in 1983. The major jump in women employees appears at the executive level with a whopping 44.9%. That is a huge leap from the 5% in 1983. It is also interesting to look at the average age in public workforce. In 2011, we saw the average age of a public servant to be around 44 years old. Compared to the average being at 39 in 1983, this could only mean that there are more employees being hired and that there are also senior members who may hold high positions. The average ages of executives have not changed much, and that may be attributed to the increase of women hired as executives. With every new member hired as an executive, it averages out the age of the senior members. Now we can examine how the years of experience have changed since prior to the Employment Equity Act to the present day. We see that the majority of employees in 2011 have between 5 to 14 years of experience. However, from 2001 up until 2011, we see a growth in public servants having at least 25 years of experience. These would be the senior members, who we can assume to hold the higher executive positions. We can also see that there is also a large majority of the workforce in 2011 having no more than 4 years of experience. These statistics have fluctuated in the past, but we now see a downward trend in the percentage of senior workers in the public service. Of these workers, many of them are baby boomers and thus will be retiring in the near future. In this graph, we can see the prediction of highly experienced workers decline up until 2016. What can we say about these statistics? Well, we can see the effects of the Employment Equity Act up until this day, but with the society producing able women for jobs, it is necessary to implement this act any further? This also raises the principle of merit into question. If an individual is incapable of doing the job, they should not be hired over one who is capable. Now we can look at the increase in workers in each minority group. The percentage of each minority that is available to work is represented by the gray bars. We can see with this graph that within each group there have been increases in the percentages that they take up in the workforce. How I see it, the Employment Equity Act was necessary in taking the first steps to equality. However, now that society has opened up so many new jobs within the public service, there's practically a job for anyone. Obviously, there are some limitations in which some minority groups cannot do the job properly. For example, we cannot hire a person with a mental disability to act as a department manager. There are merit-based positions, but in today's government, there are many public and Crown corporate positions that allow for handicapped persons to be able to work. As the graph above compares men and women presence in the public service, we can see that in a few years there would be no need to advocate for gender equality. Once the senior members retire, there will be more positions to fill with new members that may be of minority groups, given that they have the education and requirements for the job. All in all, I believe that in regards to the statistics given in 2011, that the Employment Equity Act has less of an effect on employment now compared to 20 years ago, and in a few more years, minority groups will have an even stronger presence in the public sector and in the workforce of Canada. Thank you for watching.